Hi guys, Nucleous here. Before we start, I just wanna say that I've tried playing every class in the game, and this tier list is based on my personal opinion. There isn't really a bad class at the moment, but some classes are definitely better than others, so that's totally acceptable if you disagree with some of my choices, because I'm just ranking based on my personal experiences and opinions. Alright, so the first class I wanna talk about is Kana. That's obviously an SS tier. 44% of reboot characters are Kanas. Now this is a problem. I feel like playing a Kana is like playing on the easiest difficulty or playing on a faster speed compared to other classes. Kanas are the best farmers in the game because they have spawn enhancers and overpowered skills kit. They are also the best support class in the game. It's necessary to have a Kana in bossing parties. And Kana damage is great as well, so this class is just overpowered in every aspect. Most of reboot players farm on their Kana because it's just like having a perm totem with super fast and easy map clears. Personally, I refuse to farm on a Kana. I farm on my main, but it's just impossible for me to get close to Kana rates. And I always run out of totems, so everything is just way slower when you're not a Kana. So yeah, that's an SS tier for sure. The next one is Phantom. Phantom is kinda average, pretty good mobbing, solid DPS, solid burst. Everything in Phantom is like okay, nothing really stands out. To be honest, I would love to see a Phantom buff. I think it's a B tier. Ice Lightning Mage. Well, the mobbing is great, it's one of the best. Bossing wise right now, it isn't that good, but a huge post-neo balance patch incoming in a few weeks, and explorers are getting extra attention. So the bossing is gonna be great as well. This class deserves an A tier. I think it's a really fun class, kinda nostalgic. It still has that lightning chain skill from like 10 years ago. That's some OG shit, guys. I would main it. Bowmaster. Well, I feel like Bowmasters are playable, but their mobbing, from my experience, was super annoying. The bossing can be okay, but only if the boss is standing still. So that's a C tier class. Playable, but needs a buff. Same goes for Marksman, annoying mobbing, average to bad bossing, that's a solid C tier. Hayato! Hmm. So that's an S tier class. Hayatos are great, amazing mobbing, they have the highest final damage percent out of all the classes. So their damage is really high, and they have great bossing. Their skills kit is really fun and cool, but they have problem with the nodes. They have tons of skills and each one of them has a different node, so finding the right trio can be very hard and frustrating. Let's see. Sakani! My main, Buck suck. Oh, that's the best class in Maplestory. I wish. Okay, so I gotta give this class an A tier. I tried every class in the game and I had the most fun with Buck. I just love the mobility, flying around and running around, animation cancels. The mobbing is kinda brain dead, as I like it. Bossing wise, it's average with a lot of consistent damage. And we also have speed infusion and time leap for the whole party, which is super helpful during bosses, cause you just time leap your Rosobind and the boss can be bound for like 50 seconds. So I feel like this class is super fun to play, super chill and comfy, and for me that's a big factor. Thunderbreaker! Oh no guys, we got ourselves a first D tier. They used to be so good, but they got nerfed pretty hard and right now it's kinda trash and annoying to play. Most people who used to main this class had to switch mains. I call them Thunderbreaker refugees. Ah, poor Thunderbreakers. Shade. I feel like Shade is between A to B tiers. The bossing is nice, it feels pretty balanced. It's a fun and unique class. The skills are really colorful and well designed. And Shades have a great party support skills and also pretty good DPS and mobbing. So I guess I'll go with A tier. Aran. Well, Aran is S tier. This class is overpowered, the burst is insane, amazing DPS and bossing, but the mobbing is average. It can be annoying sometimes because you gotta function fast with a lot of hotkeys to be effective, because Aran is kind of a combo class and same goes for mobbing. So you gotta stay focused when you grind, which can suck, cause if you grind for hours, you just wanna go full brain dead, you don't have enough energy to stay focused. So yeah, the mobbing can be a little annoying sometimes, but it's still an S tier class for sure. Okay, so the next one is Dark Knight. As I mentioned in my previous vid, Dark Knights can be great if you get a cooldown reduction hat, and they have amazing survivability and pretty good DPS. I think it could fit in both A and B tiers, but I'll have to go with B just cause the mobbing can be a little bad when the 5th job skills are on cooldown. Xenon. Well, this class is a B tier. The mobbing is great and the burst have a good damage and a lot of lines, but it's super annoying to use. I hated it. You gotta charge it for a long time before you use it, and if you die while charging the burst, it goes into cooldown and you just lose all your damage for the next minutes, cause the off burst damage is bad. I feel like the class mechanics are trash. I wouldn't main it, but I can definitely see why some people like it. And yeah, the mobbing is good. So yeah, that's a bit here. Nightlord. Nightlord is A tier. Their burst is one of the best in the game, if not the best. The mobbing is great as well, especially in late game, but they have no iframes, so their survivability is horrible. Otherwise, they might have been S tier. Hero. Hero is between A to B. The survivability is great, frequent iframes, and good burst, but the off burst damage is bad, and the burst cooldown is really long. This class is overrated. The mobbing is like bad to average, uh, pretty bad I would say. So I think I'll go with B tier, which is kind of unpopular opinion for heroes, but I just gotta be honest. Wind Archer. This class is so underrated. I don't really see a lot of Wind Archers, but their DPS is amazing. Great bossing with a lot of consistent damage. Fun skills kit with low cooldown skills, so you can get a cooldown reduction hat. Great mobbing and great survivability. Yeah, definitely an A tier class. Demon Avenger, oh no, this class is so bad. Yo, that's an easy D tier. Half of the 5th job skills are dumb and useless. The concept of HP stat is also pretty dumb and weird, cause you always on like 1 HP and die. I still have trauma from leveling my Demon Avenger to 210 for the scaling, and the mobbing and bossing are both kinda trash. I think Nexon should take a close look at his class and change everything in it, cause right now it doesn't make any sense. It's probably the worst Maplestory class at the moment. Let's see. Battle Mage. Battle Mage deserves an A tier. They have 20% final damage buff to the party with 100% uptime, which is amazing. The mobbing is great, easy full map clears with a lot of summons, so it's pretty chill and comfy as well. The bossing is pretty good, but it can be a bit shitty to play though, cause you gotta spam Dark Shock in order to do damage. So every time you attack, you gotta press on tons of hotkeys and smash the keyboard. I actually used to main Battle Mage before Buccaneer, and that's the reason I quit it. It was too try hard for me. Mihil or Mahil, I have no idea, but this class is surprising. I think it's a B tier. I was actually surprised when I tried this class. I was expecting an outdated skills kit and trash damage, but it wasn't the case. The mobbing is actually good. Like, what the fuck? And there's a good consistent damage for bossing. And it's so tanky, you just can't die. The survivability of this class is overpowered, which is cool to be honest. And the next one is Arc. Arcs are definitely an S tier class. Before maining Buccaneer, I was debating if I should main Arc, but as you guys know, I chose the Buccaneer. And many times I kind of feel sorry for not maining Arc, because this class is one of the best in the game right now. In my opinion, their skill art is really nice and cool visually. I think Nexon did an amazing job on designing Arc skills. You can see it's very polished. It's super fun with kind of fluid playstyle because arcs have two modes, so there are many skills. And they have amazing bossing and mobbing. They're not missing anything. The burst is insane, great off-burst damage, great party buffs, self-bind. I should mention though, arc mechanics can be a bit hard because it's kind of a combo class, so it's not brain dead, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you're looking for a chill brain dead comfy to play class, Arc is not the one. Wild Hunter. Well, Wild Hunter party buffs are really good. I think this class deserves a B tier. The mobbing is pretty good as well, but the overall damage and bossing are kinda bad. I think this class could use a buff. And the next one is Fire Poison. No, that's fucking overpowered. Fire Poison is super overpowered. It's the best consistent DPSer in the game at the moment, right next to Adele. But Adele has a better burst, so yeah. But still, Fire Poison is insane. It's one of the best bossers, 100%, easy S tier. Zero. Well, Zero is unique. It's a full combo class, so it might be a bit difficult to play. I think it deserves an A tier. They have tons of iframes, a 50 seconds bind if you combo your binds right, which is crazy. Amazing mobbing, and the bossing right now is pretty bad because the damage is really low. But in a few months, probably like 2 or 3, Zero is getting a huge damage buff, and it's gonna help the bossing and damage for sure. In KMS, they went from the last spot, if I remember correctly, on the DPM charts to one of the top 10. So this buff is gonna be huge for Zeros. There'll be S tier after this buff, but yeah, right now that's an A tier. And just saying DPM charts doesn't mean too much, but it still can give a certain perspective of the damage. Ivan, wow, this class is so annoying to play. Ivan combos are pretty hard to use. You gotta combo skills with different combos, and you gotta charge a lot of your skills, including your burst. It's really hard to use and annoying to play. It's not comfy at all. But I gotta mention that even mobbing is actually really good. But both burst and DPS are bad and really hard to play and to use. So Evan is between C to D tiers, but I'll go with C just cause the mobbing is good. Okay, Kaiser. I definitely think Kaiser is S tier. This class is very polished, amazing DPS, great mobbing, great mobility because they have both teleport and flash jump. They're just good in all aspects. I would even say Kaisers are a bit overpowered. The new skill they got in Awake patch is insane. It has tons of lines when you use it, and it also does damage even on cooldown. It rolls around like a fired sword thingies every few seconds. It's like a toggle or a passive damage. So before Awake, Kaisers were A tier, but right now they're definitely S tier. Let's see, Pathfinder. Okay, so I think Pathfinder is also an A tier. The mobbing is great, they have a good consistent damage, it's fun and comfy to play, and the skills are really fun and cool, but I think they kinda needs a buff for their 5th job skills, cause Pathfinder main damage isn't the 5th job skills kit, unlike almost any other class. And actually they did get a buff for the 5th job burst skill a few weeks ago on KMS. So I was pretty happy to see that. I think they needed it. Blaster, oh shit. Okay, look, this is a tough one. Blaster damage is crazy. It's one of the best bossers in the game. But that's only if you're willing to pay the price. The price is arthritis, carpal tunnel syndrome, headaches, wrist pain, finger pain, and dying inside. Just kidding. But yo, this class is almost impossible to play. You gotta press on like 50 hotkeys every second. It's so hard and not comfy. It's a keyboard smashing class. I don't think it's mainable unless you want finger problems, like for real. When I used to level up and work on my Legion a lot, I had so many wrist and finger pains and stuff like that from grinding too much, so I can't even imagine what it's like to main Blaster. I gotta go with C on this one, cause maybe it's playable for someone, but not for me. Yeah, Blaster was a tough one. Demon Slayer. Well, Demon Slayer is overpowered. S tier for sure. They have insane DPS, bossing and mobbing. Even though it's a consistent damage class, they still have a great burst, so they can enjoy both worlds of good consistent damage and a great burst. And they also have tons of base damage percent on their skills and ignore defense percent on a lot of their skills. So their damage is really high, and they also have great survivability because they have frequent low cooldown iframes. Angelic Buster, well, they used to be really overpowered, but they got huge nerfs. So right now it's a solid B tier. They have like okay bossing and okay mobbing. Pretty average. Okay, Nightwalker. Their burst is amazing. They're such a good bossers. They have so many lines. Their burst looks like the old school Maple damage hacks from like 13 years ago, when hackers used to do infinite number of lines to kill Ornithel and normal Zakum. So yeah, their burst is amazing. It's one of the best bursts in the game. Kinda reminds me of the Nightlord burst. And also, just like Nightlord, the late game mobbing is great as well, but their survivability is pretty bad. So I'll go with A tier. Oh, Down Warrior. That's another A tier class. We have so many A tier classes. Well, to play it you need a low ping in order to hit the combos. Personally, I can't play it because I play on Reboot NA and I have a Europe ping. So as a down warrior, I can't play smoothly at all. I lose a lot of DPS. But besides of the ping thingy, down warriors are amazing. Not many people know this, but they actually have a great party buff that gives 15% final damage to the whole party, which is crazy. And their bossing and mobbing are both great, especially their bossing. They have a lot of lines and really high damage. Mercedes. Well, Mercedes is also kind of a combo class, but this one is super annoying to play. The mobbing feels really try hard and heavy. The bossing is good. There's a great burst and pretty good off burst damage, but I don't know, it's just not comfy to play, especially when grinding. So I think that's a B tier. Even though bossing wise, it's probably A tier. Ooh, Dual Blade. That's a really fun class. They have amazing DPS, great bossing and great survivability. Dual Blades are kinda overpowered. They have low cooldown skills with huge amount of damage and tons of lines. They got nerfed a little bit, but I think they're still between S to A tiers. I'll probably go for S because right now it's one of the best mobbers in Cernium because the low cooldown skills are one-shotting mobs, which isn't the case for most classes right now, especially in Reboot. Everyone's struggling as fuck in Cernium, and you'll be just smashing around the whole map with the low cooldown skills because they have insane lines and damage. Blaze Wizard. To be honest, I'm not so sure. I didn't try this class at 5th job. It's a really uncommon class. I don't even know one Blaze Wizard main, but from what I know and seen, it's not bad. I guess I'll go with B, cause Blaze Wizards have a nice burst and pretty good consistent damage, and they're always getting buffs in balance updates. Alright, Jet. Well, Jet is pretty fun. If you guys saw my last vid, you should know what I think about Jet. It's decent now, great DPS and consistent damage, pretty cool mobbing, fun and unique. I'll go with B tier, which is a huge difference from like 1 year ago, when it was an easy D tier. It was so bad. And yeah, right now it's pretty decent. Mainable for sure, yeah. Kadena. Well, Kadena is S tier. It can be a bit hard to play because it's a combo rotation class. You just rotate between all of your skills and repeat. DPS wise, this class is insane. It's one of the best bossers and DPSers for sure. They have amazing consistent DPS, pretty good burst, and amazing mobbing. So that's an S tier. Oh yay, Shadower. Alrighty, so Shadower is one of my favorite classes. They're pretty dynamic. In early game, they're like decent, maybe a B tier, but once they reach into late game, they really shine. They have amazing late game mobbing, really fun and amazing DPS and bossing, fun skills kit, great consistent damage and burst. They're really fun to play with like cool skills and great mobility. When I tried it, it kind of felt like playing on my Buccaneer, and Buccaneer for me is like number one. It's the most fun class in the game, but Shadower is just way stronger than Buck. So it's both fun and strong, unlike Buck, cause Buck suck. Let's see. Kinesis. Okay, so Kinesis is a great class. It requires a lot of micromanagement of the skills and energy bar because they don't use MP. They use energy bar thingy, so you gotta micromanagement it all the time. And they have a great burst and great off burst damage. Pretty good mobbing. I'll go with A tier for Kinesis. Corsair. So this is also a tough one. It could fit in both A and B tiers. Okay, so look, right now Corsair survivability is horrible, but in the upcoming post-Neo balance patch, Corsairs are getting iframe every 40 seconds, so it'll balance them in this aspect. And I gotta say, their burst is crazy. It's really underrated. You just summon a huge ship to do so many lines and huge amount of damage, while you just DPS with other skills meanwhile. And also I gotta mention, their skills are really cool visually, and they have a lot of summons, so the mobbing is easy, and they just keep getting buffed every balance update. So in addition to the iframe buff, they're also getting in a few weeks like extra 50 lines for the new skill Death Trigger. So right now it's a B tier, but after the balance patch it will be A tier. So let's just shove it in A with all the other A classes. There are so many of them. Ew, Adele. Ew, the disgusting Adele. Of course, that's an SS tier. The most overpowered class in the game right now, right next to Kana. I wouldn't lie, it kinda pisses me off that if you take an Adele and a Buccaneer with the same stats and items and put each one of them to solo Hard Lotus, for example, it'll take only 10 minutes for the Adele to kill, while it'll take like 20 minutes for the Buck, while they both have the same items and stats. So it's so unbalanced. This class is crazily overpowered. They have insane burst, probably the best burst in the game. They have insane DPS, insane bossing, insane mobbing. Everything is just overpowered. They'll get a small iframe and survivability nerf at the post-Neo balance patch, but meh, it'll still be an easy SS tier. Alright, mechanic. I think mechanic should be in A tier. It felt kinda heavy and clumsy to play. The mobility is trash and slow, but it's still a great class. They're good in all terms of DPS, bossing and mobbing, and they even have a great burst. So that's why mechanics deserves an A tier. But personally, I didn't enjoy playing this class. It felt way too slow and heavy. Bishop. Bishop is another A tier. Oh shit, we have too many A tiers. Well, usually people grind and level up until 8 game as Sight Lightning Mage, because Ice Lightning Mage mobbing is the best out of all the Explorer mages. And only then they switch to Bishop, so the mobbing isn't really an issue. Even though it isn't that bad, Bishop mobbing is like okay. And as you guys already know, Bishop is a support class. They have great party support skills like death prevention skills and party iframes, and also great party damage buffs. So the contribution to the party is huge, and they actually do damage as well. So every party could use a bishop, and even if he does no damage, his buffs will contribute instead. But the contribution is huge either way, because of course bishops can do damage as well. So yeah, that's an easy A tier. Cannon Master. Well, Cannon Master is also an A tier class. Fuck, we have too many. Um, yeah, look, Maplestory is kinda balanced right now, except a few classes like Adele, Oyang, Kana, and shit. So most of the classes are kinda like pretty good and balanced. So that's why we have a lot of A tiers. Um, so yeah, okay. Cannoneer has amazing consistent damage, and you can burst as well, because you can save up your bullets and burst with it, because you can charge a few at a time. So it's a both burst and a consistent damage class, and they have frequent iframes and tons of lines. They have like thousands of lines every minute. Um, 3 out of 4 of the 5th job skills our summons, so there's a lot of passive damage, which makes the mobbing really easy, kinda brain dead. So yeah, A tier, great class. Even though it's like heavy and they use cannon and it should be like pretty slow, they still have great mobility. Alrighty, KAIN is soon, guys. Only 5 more. Okay, Paladin. Paladins are fun. They have pretty much okay consistent damage and burst. They have some great party buffs. Average mobbing like the other two Explorer Warriors. They have a great self-bind and a 30-second iframe. The longest iframe in the game if I remember correctly. So they're super tanky with like okay damage and mobbing. I think they could fit in both A and B tiers, but I have to go with B for this one. Ooh, Beast Tamer. Well, Beast Tamer is so underrated. Their burst is insane. Like the damage of it is crazy, not just the number of lines. The damage itself is just so high. You mix our burst with a buff that allows you to use more than just one mode at a time, because beast tamers can only use one animal mode at a time. So when you use that buff, you get all the passives of the 3 other modes, which is like 500 magic attack or some crazy shit. And then you just use all the long cooldown skills and smash everything so hard, tons of lines as well, and overpowered damage kind of. The survivability is great as well. They have extra life in bosses. They have frequent and long iframes. The mobbing is also pretty good. Easy mob clears. So I think beast tamers should fit in S tier. And that's pretty crazy. Who would have thought? Like, it's just like Jet. Like, this class used to be absolute trash. It was so bad like 1 year ago, and right now it's so good. And that was really great to see because I really like when the classes are balanced, and I was really happy about the Beast Tamer buffs. It really balanced them out. They're great now. Ilium. So Ilium is secretly overpowered, but like 10 out of 10 annoying to play in my opinion. This class gave me AIDS, I just couldn't deal with it. You gotta move your orb thingy everywhere you want to attack, and if the boss moves a little bit, you have to follow it and recast the orb, and like until you cast it, it moves away again, and it's just so annoying. I hated it so much. Um, so like you gotta cast every skill twice in order to do damage because you gotta cast the orb first. But the burst of Ilium is so good. It's one of the best bursts in the game, and they have insane damage. It's really secretly overpowered. Not many people know this. And their mobbing is also really good because you can just place the orb in the middle and you can get a full mob clear pretty easily. And also if the boss is bound, you can burst him really hard. So this class is only bad when the boss is like mobile and move too much. Also in big maps, I would say it's pretty bad and annoying. But yeah, personally I hated this class, but it's still overpowered, it's really strong. So I have to go with A tier. Woo, only 2 more until KAIN, holy fuck. Oh, Oyang. Okay, we got ourselves another SS tier. Oyang uses a lot of low cooldown skills, so it's pretty dynamic and fun to play. They have amazing mobbing, amazing burst. Right next to Adele, I think that's the maybe second best burst in the game. Um, And they also have amazing off-burst damage. They also have amazing survivability. Everything is overpowered. You can just fly around and dodge stuff, in addition to really long iframes. But yeah, Oyang burst is definitely his biggest thing, because Oyang burst is huge. It's really overpowered. Um, they're getting a pretty big nerf soon, a 10% final damage reduction at the post-new balance update. So maybe after that there'll be an S tier, but right now they're SS for sure. Okay, only Lumi left, and then we got KAIN. So Lumi is kinda cool. It's not a DPS class and it's not a burst class. It's both. It's like half-half, which is cool because Lumis have great both DPS and burst. And also the concept of this class is also pretty fun and cool, with like the darkness and light thing. So it adds in more content to the gameplay itself and skills. Mobbing wise, it's really good. It's amazing. I think Lumis are between S to A tiers, but I'll go with A tier. I gotta mention, Lumi felt a bit slow when I played it. And we did it, guys! It was a long journey, especially for me. This video took so many days and hours to make, and we did it. The last one is KAIN, and KAIN is S tier. KAIN is amazing. It's really fun, and the skills are really cool and diverse. KAIN actually have 3 skill modes: possessed mode, execution skills, and the normal skills, which is awesome cause it's not a one note class. You can have a really dynamic gameplay and enjoy so many skills. Unlike Buccaneer, for example, we just activate our toggle damage and spam Octopunch. For KAIN, it's not the case. You gotta rotate between the skills. Many of them are low cooldown skills. It's not a combo class, but you still gotta rotate between some of the skills, kind of. And mobbing wise, KAIN is insane. The mobbing is crazy. It's so good and fun. And for real, I think it's the only class that you can actually have fun when you grind. It's not try hard and it's not brain dead. It's like in the middle, which is cool. Bossing wise, KAIN is great. It's a burst class, but the off burst damage is also great. And to be honest, right now, Maplestory is a burst meta. So having a good burst is really important for bossing. So, there you have it for classes tier list, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As you guys know, English isn't my first language, and this video took a lot of time and effort to make. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to show some support, please leave a like and a comment. It helps me a lot, it keeps me motivated. Thanks again. I'll leave my Instagram account in the description in case someone wants to know how I look like, or connect my voice to a face or an image or something. Feel free to follow me, I'll follow you back. Always excited to meet new friends, especially if they play Maplestory. Next video will be a Buccaneer vid, and then a KAIN 5th job gameplay vid, and then maybe another rating or a ranking vid. So thanks again and see you soon, guys.